Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our talk show, The Exchange Zone, and I'll be your host for today, and it's my pleasure to bring you to our very first episode of the show. Joining us this pleasant afternoon is our very special guest, Dr. Pearly Gatphoh, who has quite an interesting and inspiring life and is willing to share with us today. She's an amazing artist at core, also a philanthropist. She has been a professor of philosophy and also worked extensively with the church. And now she has dedicated much of her time helping people in need. Let's give her a round of applause. So the first question, are you excited to be part of our show today?
Yeah, I am.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today and for making time to join our program. We're really excited to have you here. So the first question, since we already know she is a very acclaimed singer, as we have mentioned, and our viewers are interested to know, how did you take that journey to become such an acclaimed artist, as well as how did you get that recognition here in Shillong?
Okay, first of all, I never think of myself as an acclaimed artist. Actually, it all began like this. Just love singing since the time I was a young girl. My mom was a radio artist, and so every time she would, practice her songs, I would be there, would listen to her, and that's how it developed, an interest and love for music. And, to cut the long story short, I remember when I was 7 years old, then we had a children's service, and one of the leaders from the children ministry, he raised a question and asked everyone who was present, who'd like to sing this coming Sunday? It was a World Sunday School Day. I was 7 years old and I raised my hand. I said, okay, yes. I would sure love to sing. And so, the day came, and I still remember it was my grandmother. She's passed away a long time back, but she taught me a song. And, it's a hymn. And then I sang for the first time, and that was way back in 1980. Most of you were not born. I was still a very young girl, 7 years old. And that was the beginning. And from then on, I never stopped. And I've been singing for so many years, maybe 42 to 43 years. And I love singing. It's just who I am. And I sing because, I love it. That's all. I don't sing because, I consider myself an acclaimed artist or anything as such. But, when I sing, and I feel, by singing, people are blessed with my songs. And as you know, I'm a gospel singer. And so I sing with a purpose, that people will be blessed. People's lives will be touched, And so that is the whole purpose of my singing. And I hope I can still be a blessing through this gift in the days to come. Yeah, thank you.
And also you're one of the main artists and main singer in the choir. Would you tell us about a few lines about how you joined the choir?
Yeah, like I have said, since I was 7 years old, I started singing. Then I never, thought of becoming a member of the choir, but when I was 14 years old, still very young, and my voice was also still that of a young girl. And then, I decided to join the Latin Presbyterian Church Choir. So that was in the year 1987. It's a long time back. And I became a member of the Latin Presbyterian Church Choir. And, since then, until the year I got married, that was in 2000. So for many years I've been part of the London Presbyterian Church Choir. Yeah.
Also, can you give us a few insight about how you came about to record your first album, sponsoring with the Shangpliang Productions? Can you tell us a few experience and how?
Okay. Regarding producing an album, the first album we produced together, it was me and then the three of us sisters actually. Also have another sister, it was the first batch of mass communication from the same college. She was part of the first batch. Her name is Dolly, and I have another sister, Pearly Gatphoh. So three of us, we produced our first album. That was in the year 2000. It was called Lokbakordor. It was produced by my dad actually. So that was our first album. Then after that, we produced a few more albums. And what you said, there is a particular album that was sponsored by Shangpliang Studio, and we've produced two albums, Halor Baro 1 and Halor Baro 2. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing us about the insight of you being an artist. We also know that you are the co-founder of KSMO. So can you share with us a brief insight of the organization?
Okay, so besides singing, I also do other things. Okay, I love singing, it's my first love, but then besides that, we also are involved with an organization called Knershaki Mission Organisation. It also began the year 2000. Actually, it was me and my husband. My husband is a founder, and together, along with a few friends, we co-founded this organization called Knershaki Mission Organisation. And I think you all know Knershaki means reaching out to them. And so our target group is, you can guess, are the poor people. So, and how it all began is, my husband had worked with World Vision, and had come across lots of poor children who couldn't go to school simply because of the fact that they were poor. So we started a school sponsorship program under KSMO, and so that was how it all got started. We are into school sponsorship, so that is one of our main intervention programs. So, and we thank God that so far we have sponsored more than 500 children coming from poor families. So what we do is we have our target areas. And so, there is something that's called, we do an investigation kind of a, thing. We meet with the families and then sit and talk with them. And after that, we make a selection, and then on the basis of, of discussion with those families, we select children, that we would sponsor for their education. And so far, we've had so many poor children who otherwise would not have been able to go to school. They come from very poor families. As you know, in Meghalaya, there are lots of families with single mothers. And nowadays, it's not easy, to keep a child in school. And especially when it comes to these rural families, not just one or two kids. They have lots of children, 4, 5, and sometimes 10, 12 children. Then at the most, they can send 2 or 3 of their children to school. And so, our main focus is with these children in some of these rural areas and also in the suburban areas. And some of these children are from the city of Shillong. So that's what we have been doing. Our organization has been sponsoring for the education of poor children, and we feel so happy to do that. We feel privileged. And many of those children, they have, completed their SSLC exams and have gone into colleges. And some of them, they're working now as professionals. And so, we feel so blessed to be a blessing, And not just that, we sponsor these children. And sometimes, apart from the school sponsorship program, we also call them for every now and again for a time of teaching, or I would say, values education. Because sometimes, yes, education is important. And one of the reasons why we focus on sponsorship is because we think education is one of the most powerful tools to fight poverty. Okay, and so, by sponsoring these children to school, we are really giving them chance for a better future. Because, with an education, they can apply for a job and so on and so forth. So that's what we've been doing. We don't have any government sponsorship as such, but, we would like to express our gratitude to many of our local sponsors. It's the poor people who sponsor, these children, so they're able to go to school. Some of these people, they contribute 100, 200 rupees a month. And with these local sponsorship, we're able to put these children in different schools. And so that is what we've been doing. And, we ourselves feel blessed, And to cite an example, we sponsor till class 10. And on special cases, we sponsor even those students would like to pursue the further studies. And so far, we've been able to help one boy who was doing his BSc. He was quite a good student, but, because of poverty, he wasn't able to pursue his study. And so in partnership with social welfare, we sponsored for his education, and he was able to complete his BSc. And now he's working with the organization. He's one of our staff. Okay? And so apart from school sponsorship, like what I've said, we also into kingdom values education. We call them every now and again. We teach them about values. Sometimes education is important, but alongside education, character formation is also important. And I think most of you would agree with that. Education and character formation. And so we meet with these children and we teach them about honesty, about integrity, and about hard work, about punctuality, about a lot of other things, So that is another thing that we've been doing. We also monitor the performance in school and things like that. So, and the last thing that we have been doing as an organization, and we thank God for that, from 2000 till 2017, we were into school sponsorship. And then from 2017 onwards, we started a children's home at Upper Shillong in a locality called Maunyangla. So because, we encountered some of these children, like who, they were like complete orphans. They've lost both of their parents. And then again, some like who come from, homes where they have just their mothers, and the mothers cannot, support their education anymore, nor provide for their needs. And so what happened is we started a children's home. It's called the Sanctuary of Hope Children's Home. So right now we're into school sponsorship, and then we also have this children's home, and there are about 20 children in this children's home. So you can come and see them sometimes. It's there on the highway, when you go to Upper Shillong, Milim. It's on the left side, so all of you are welcome. You can come visit these children. So that's what we've been doing in the past. I mean, a lot of things, other things also, but in short, that's what we've been doing. Yeah.
Thank you for the brief insight. And as one of the co-founders, what was your experience throughout the years of working with the people that are part of the organization?
My experience? Okay, one experience is, this joy of, being able to serve the people. There's a particular verse in the Bible, of, which Jesus himself said. He said, I've come, not to be served, but to serve. That was Jesus, mission, we can say. It was his mission statement. I have come not to be served, but to serve. And so, in whatever way we can, in a humble way. We're not a big organization. We don't have much money, so to say. But in a small way, we want to be a blessing. And it has given us joy to be able to serve the poor people. As it is, the poor, they're the ones that are, be neglected the most in society. Because every time we're talking about celebrities, we're talking about people who are popular, who are gifted, talented, people who are rich and famous, the lifestyle of the rich and the famous. But nobody's concerned about the lifestyle of the poor, the downtrodden. There should be some people, who should be thinking about the poor. And somehow God has put this in our heart to think about the poor people, and it's given us immense joy to be able to serve them. You should see them sometimes just come, by, reaching out to help them. It's like putting a smile on their face, putting a smile on their face. and they can look forward to a better future. So that is one of my experiences. I think it gives me a sense of satisfaction. At least you're not only living for yourself. We live in a society where everybody is becoming so self-centered. With the selfie thing, everybody's always interested in, in my, I, me, and myself. That's the philosophy, it's my life and all of that. Sometimes you need to remember it's not only about my life, it's about the lives of others. And so, that is another thing that we've learned. Okay, it gives us this satisfaction that at least, if not, the whole 24 hours, but at least, we're giving some time towards others, and especially those who are in need. So that is another thing. It gives you satisfaction. Because at the end of the day, you come back home and you think, okay, I've done something good to society, and you feel blessed. After all, we have just one life to live. So it's not only about what you do for yourself, but it's about what you do for others. How you can be a blessing. How through you others' lives can be enriched, can be blessed. And so in a small way, that's what we have been doing. And I believe we can do better in the days to come, serve our society better.
Thank you. And can you tell us the main goal of this organization, and have you achieved them so far?
Yeah, the main goal of the organization is to bring about, an improved livelihood, in the lives of most of these poor families, so they can experience what the Bible calls life in all of its fullness, that fullness of life. Because many of you see, some of these poor children, at a very young age, they have to look for a job, they have to look for work, and many of them, they have no hope for the future. And so they keep on doing what their parents have been doing, they keep on being poor, and the cycle goes on, the cycle of poverty goes on, So that is one thing that we have seen. And so our goal is to give them a better chance for a brighter future. Okay, so they can also, look forward and, hope that life will be good. They can also maybe have a family, have children of their own, keep their children in good school, have a life, give them chance to have a better life. So that is there. And also, not just giving them an education, but like I've said, character formation. Help them to be not just educated people, but also good people. Because there's so many people who are so educated, but when it comes to being good, it's very difficult to find really good people these days. Because you live in where people think only about themselves. When I say that, I'm talking in general. I'm not pointing my finger at anybody, but that's, the whole outlook, in today's world. And so, the goal is giving the poor people a chance for a better life. Yeah, and also building their character so they can be useful citizens in the days to come. They themselves have been helped, so they can also do the same thing. And the cycle of doing good can continue. So yeah, that is one of the goals.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pearly. And as we can clearly see that helping people is the main goal of this interview, and that we should also spend some of our time in helping people in need. So this should be considered a very important role from our side, and we should always try to help people. So coming to the end, do you have a message for our viewers today?
Yeah.
That you would like?
I think I have been sharing so many messages right from the beginning. You got it, I think. The message is to also live for others, to be a blessing. There's a theme in the Bible that says, blessed to be a blessing. So for the students of this department, you are blessed to be in this department. Many poor children will not be able to afford the fees. But you should really thank God that your parents, can afford the fees. So you can pursue, your studies here. And so my message is, I know one day you're going to pass from this, college and you're going to pursue, a different profession, vocation, calling, whatever. But my message is, always remember the poor, people who are less fortunate, less privileged in society. Yes, we will live for ourselves, we'll enjoy life, because, it's God's gift to us. But at the same time, let us also think of others, make time for others, try to do good to others, live a life so that at the end of it, you can look back and say, okay, I've lived not just for myself, but also for others. So that is my message. Thank you.
That is a very nice philosophy to live by, and that I feel like the viewers who are watching right now are very blessed, and I hope you all have a pleasant day ahead. Thank you.